Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for passing by. Thank you so much for subscribing. And thank you very much for watching my videos. You are greatly appreciated. So by now, everybody has seen MC Nuffy in his glorious state, ranting as usual, and Mother Shad speaking out against other artists. He's calling out Massacre, he's calling out Joshi, and he's saying a lot of things and saying that people aren't happy for Vybz Kartel. A lot of them are jealous, a lot of them are bad mind haters, yada yada yada. Based on the comment that Jashi made while being on stage. MC went and did his live. Many persons are cheering him on, many persons are supporting his argument, saying that it is true. A lot of them can't be cartel or can't be on Vybz Kartel level. And that's why they're mad, that's why they're upset, that's why they're angry, that's why they're not supporting him, basically, and are staying silent, are not saying anything, are not making any comments. While at the same time, many other persons are saying that Vybz Kartel doesn't really deserve the crown, and he's not a dancehall king, and it's just a whole lot of controversy, a whole lot of argument, and as we know, that's the element that Vybz Kartel go for, controversy, and so it will follow him wherever he goes, whether he like it or not, and this is what's happening. And the feedback that Nuffy is getting from his live, and this is what many persons are in fact saying and are actually supporting Nuffy's argument. So more so it's leaning towards the support of Nuffy's argument, that many persons aren't happy for Vybz Kartel and many persons are not necessarily supporting him. Now, in looking at the entire situation from a broader perspective, I have this to say, and I want you guys to hear me as loud as possible. You know me already. I have already spoken about how I feel about Vybz Kartel. I've already spoken on how I feel about his music when I tell you that I like some of his songs and I think that he's extremely talented and that I will never take from him. However, the controversies and a lot of things that he put out there are very misleading, and I do not cater for it. I don't want to be a part of it. And I'm here to show young people a different page, a different angle of which they can own their life without being moved or without moving on the foot of where they're heavily influenced by controversial things that lead to a path of self-destruction rather than self-upliftment and self-growth. But here's the thing. Nuffy and others do not understand something, and it's what Vybz Kartel represents, and it will create an unease for other persons. Here lies an individual who has pursued music, right? And from he broke away from the entire alliance and he was no longer part of it. He went on to Beanie Man with Mafia House Production, no longer part of it. Went on doing his own thing, forming his Gaza, putting out artists, him and them falling out, a whole lot of controversies. He had his manager, Corey Todd, Street Vibes Rum, Condom, Cake Soap controversy again, implicated in a murder, did 13 years in prison, coming out, touring, setting the bar higher, where he's demanding a whole lot because many persons are longing to see him. And so there's a momentum and an energy around him of which many persons want to be a part of. And so persons are coming out booking him for whatever fee that he set it to, and it's generating a whole lot for him. And so he's going on and until the point where he's now crowned the king of dancehall. And the reason it will create a lot of discomfort for many persons or unease for many persons, especially artists who are in music, is that they're looking at the fact that they abide by the law, they took the straight and narrow path, and yet they are not rewarded. Remember that to them, when Vybz Kartel came in and Vybz Kartel name was generating all along from leaving from Bounty Killer and making a name for himself and a corner for himself when he came to Gaza, it was like a guerrilla tactic. It was like a guerrilla marketing where it was his jockey, this jockeys that like him, this jockey that preferred him, or were getting paid or were getting bullied to play his music. And so they were being played all day, every day. And so it was more so Vybz Kartel atmosphere and a Vybz Kartel dancehall rather than a dancehall that included Vybz Kartel. And so it created unease for a lot of persons who were in music even then. And so when he was incarcerated or when he was convicted for murder, it was like a relief for many persons. It created an avenue where many persons felt like they had an angle where they could excel, where they could launch, where they could do their own thing. And many persons came out and said it, that, you know, when it came to Vybz Cartel, when he was in music, it was like it was his producers, and it was his rhythm, and it was his artists who were circulating all day every day. So once something is being played at a peak hour, it will be a Gaza type of rhythm, and then a Gaza artists that are coming on, and then Vybz Cartel got 2 3 songs on the same rhythm, and then it was his music that was being played all day every day. And it was an unfair marketing for artists, you understand me, and for him. And so other artists suffered, other artists did not have the opportunity, and they kept saying that, okay, he's more hardworking and he's more this, because he said that he would leave the studio recording 8 songs and stuff like that. And we knew that he put out a lot of songs, but we have to remember that there was in fact guerrilla marketing that was taking place then. And so it would have given more leverage for his music to get streaming, to get more airplay, and all of these type of things. So it would have been unfair for other artists. It would have clouded them and put them in a circle or in a corner where they could not launch, they could not excel, because there wasn't a big engine behind them pushing their image, pushing their music. I'm sorry. And remember that these artists were not doing things that Vybz Cartel was doing when they were in music. So if they were not doing what he was doing, and he was putting out controversies, remember, back to my argument, a lot of controversies that had nothing to do with a dancehall, Vybz Cartel put it out there in the dancehall space, especially when it came to his personal life and the things that he was associated with, allegedly involved in, and his name being circulated around it. And so when it's not music, it is something else. And they just applied it to dancehall. So even when you have these entertainment shows, or these entertainment music reviews, like the Entertainment Report, Winford Williams, then you would hear them speak on Gaza or speak on Vybz Cartel, and they would talk about things that had nothing to do with his music. It was always something controversial. So of course that's going to cloud, or that's going to block other artists from getting their moment to shine. So that would have created an unease for many artists. So when he was incarcerated, it seemed like it was an avenue then for many to come out, many to break out, many to get their shine. And we have to remember that if he was out at the time, a lot of artists who got their break would not have gotten it if they weren't coming under Vybz Cartel umbrella, or hailing or saying the Gaza, who you know is the only artist that never did it. Alkaline. Alkaline. And I'm thinking that yes, it contribute, Vybz Carter being incarcerated contributed to Alkaline getting his break out, because if he was free or he was walking around, we know the character of Vybz Cartel based on what he put out in the media and what was constantly reported about him. It wouldn't have We wouldn't have seen the success of an Alkaline if Vybz Cartel was free or was never incarcerated, because someone like him would have done everything or go above and beyond to make certain that his music doesn't play, it doesn't get any shine, it doesn't get any interview, and it would have been all about Vybz Cartel or one of his Gaza artists at the time. You understand me? So once he was incarcerated, it gave other artists a little moment for them to shine, for them to do their own thing. His music was still being played. Persons who were loyalists or persons who were getting money through payola, they will constantly play his music just the same. And you have to remember that even while him being incarcerated, he was still taking jobs at artists such as Alkaline, Mavado, Jamil, when they became the three artists, what they call them, MVP, and stuff like that. And there were clashes, and many persons were saying that why was Mavado clashing with Vybz Cartel while he is incarcerated? But nobody seemed to ask a question, why is an incarcerated man putting himself in the middle of a clash that was taking place between Mavado and Popcorn? Once again, you see unfair argument being circulated, and it's in favor of Vybz Cartel because he had already gone with the Gaza emblem, and we know the type of persons already who supported him. So, like I said, all of these things put a damper on other artists out there who are trying to launch. The only way a lot of them would have come up if they were is only if they had said Gaza. So you would even find artists who are not Gaza, who doesn't support Vybz Cartel, who just say big up Gaza or big up the world boss because they needed a forward, they needed a hail, they needed some sort of support from the crowd. And so when everything is starting to dwindle, he's released now and stuff like that, and they believe that okay, a moment was there for them, a little opening was there for them to come through. And even though he's released and he's overseas and he's doing shows, he's doing here and there, everybody's beginning to unravel before your very eyes. Now you will see who were actually supportive of the artist versus who weren't. And now it's creating a lot of unease for many persons because, like I said, Vybz Cartel was like a block for many artists. There was just a little bit too much in the dancehall space where he clouded the artists. He clouded so many artists out there and prevented them from getting their own shine. Not every artist want to sing about degeneracy. Not every artist want to sing about female degradation. But those were the type of artists let me speak present. Those are the type of artists who end up getting their shine in music because they would have come under or they would have been saying the same thing based on the fact that this guy revolutionized music, dancehall music, through controversy, through female degradation, through degeneracy, through a whole lot of things that he promoted and put on the forefront in dancehall. So if an artist come out and he was about his consciousness through dancehall, he was about reality through dancehall, he'd hardly get his shine. And people have to understand that. So clearly, persons are not going to be comfortable with him being crowned the king of dancehall. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad man or you're envious or you're jealous. If you are in the field of using guerrilla marketing to overshadow other persons out there, and you have a heavy support of people from years back when you were world boss or teacher or were doing so many controversies and have so many bad men in quote that were behind you as your security and supporting you and stuff like that. So no artist could step to you, no artist could try something else and actually have a successful career. Clearly now when the smoke and mirror and the veil is removed, many artists are going to show their true colors, that they were never really in support of you, but they could not do better than to say Gaza at the time because it's the only way they could have launched. That's just the harsh reality. So whether you like it, Mr. Nuffy, or you don't like it, that's just the harsh reality. People are not going to have a choice. It's like a dictatorship. You don't have a choice than to support the dictator, because if you don't, you can end up losing your freedom, you can end up losing your life, you can end up being dismembered, you can end up come up missing. You understand? So it's the same thing that's happening when it came to Vybz Cartel. People know who he was, what he did back then, and you're pretending as if this guy was just about music and everybody's lying on him, and every single thing that was reported about him outside of music that is negative was a lie. We knew what he did. We saw the behavior. Many persons, selectors getting beat up. We see so many things that took place when he was world boss and teacher, while he was free prior to 2011. There were so many things that were taking place. And it overshadowed the career of many artists out there. So they are not going to be comfortable with him being crowned the king of dancers. So that's why they're not going to support him. And people are actually within their right, because not everybody wants to be a part of that. And it's like, if you're not a part of it or you don't support it, then you're a bad mind person. Your life is in danger. You're threatened and all these type of things. And so people are just simply tired of it. People are simply tired of it. You have to understand when there are many persons who have reached the end of their road and they just don't want to have anything to do with it. A lot of artists are not going to come out and say it because so many persons are behind the Gaza. So many persons are supporting it. So they aren't going to come out and say it. They will just throw their subs or they will say nothing and just keep it moving until the moment die down. Which by far what it looks like that it's most likely not going to, based on him doing so much. And I guess he wants to continue with who he was prior to going to prison when it comes to controversy. And if that's the road that he's going to take, it will be a very, very damning road. That's all I can say. Because not many persons are going to sit this one out this time. You understand me? Many persons are simply not going to do it. And might I add, there are so many artists who are coming up right now who are not going to say Gaza or in support of Gaza. And there's much that you can do about it because you can only threaten so many people. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about these supporters. I'm not necessarily speaking on Vybz Cartel this time. You guys can only threaten so many persons. So in case Nuffy want to know why a lot of people or why a lot of artists do not support Vybz Cartel, are not happy for him, this is the reason, the history behind it, and why this guy became the king of dancehall. Many persons are saying, I stay on the crooked and cut straight. I follow the rules. And here lies a man who did so many things that are negative, and he's being rewarded for it. So bad behavior is being rewarded. And it is, and you're encouraging younger generation and younger people out there to not stay on the crooked and cut straight because you're not rewarded. Good behavior is not rewarded. Clearly, good behavior is not rewarded. When you do a whole lot of foolery in this society and you can get an audience to cheer you on and support you continuously, you get a lot of support. And it's not just in music, you see it on social media. The females who misbehave, do a whole lot of degrading things, says a whole lot of degrading things, always in squabbles with other persons and stuff like that. They're the ones who get promos. They're the ones who people are reaching out to pay them to promote this, to promote that party, to sell this for them, to market this for them, while the other persons out there who are being wholesome and trying to encourage young people out there to take a positive path in life. They're not getting promotions. They aren't getting endorsement. They aren't getting paid to highlight or to promote something or to advertise something. No, they are not getting paid to do it because people do not care for that. People gravitate to the what? Degenerated version of themselves. That's the black community for you. As long as you're the queen or king of degeneracy, you will always be supported in the black community. Once you are the king or the queen of degeneracy, and that's the angle that you are going for, you will always be supported. You stay on the crooked cut straight and be about your business and be straightforward and be an upright, outstanding citizen that contributes to nation building or can even offer a word of encouragement, you will be silenced. No one is interested in sharing your message. Nobody's interested in listening to you. You are being shamed. You're actually being shamed for being a positive influence. You're actually being shamed for being intelligent. You're actually shamed for talking like you have some sense. You are being shamed for it, and you're also being silenced. That's the black community for you. And that's a harsh reality. So there you have it. Now, if nothing didn't know, now you know why many artists out there are uncomfortable, are not saying anything, or silent, or not supporting Vybz Cartel being crowned the king of the dancehall. If there's any more that you guys wish to add, feel free to do so in the comment section. If your comment is insulting or disrespectful and abrupt, it will be deleted. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your day and may God bless you. Bye-bye.